Welcome to Daai Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, Tzu Chi volunteers in Malaysia and the Philippines are holding pilgrimages to celebrate Tzu Chi's 47th anniversary. China Tzu Chi volunteers are distributing stationery, daily necessities, and blankets to Lushan high school students in Sichuan Province before they return to school. And we take a look at a support system in Taipei, Taiwan, where family members of Alzheimer sufferers can find support and comfort. We kick off the show in Malaysia, where Tzu Chi volunteers held a pilgrimage to celebrate Tzu Chi's 47th anniversary. Through the event, Tzu Chi volunteers realized the importance of fulfilling their filial duties, while in the Philippines, Tzu Chi members and care recipients joined volunteers in chanting of Buddhist scriptures to show their gratitude for Tzu Chi's help.
At 5:30 in the morning, crowds of Tzu Chi volunteers, Tzu Chi members and care recipients are already gathered outside the Philippines Jingsi Hall chanting Buddhist scriptures. One care recipient, despite having difficulty in movement, is here with his wife at the event.
I'm filled with Dharma joy. Though it wasn't easy, I still took part in the whole pilgrimage.
If it wasn't for the help of Master Zheng Yan, I don't know what kind of lives we would be living now.
Many care recipients are here participating as a token of their appreciation for Tzu Chi's help.
We are very grateful to the Master for helping us and giving us the opportunity to study. Thank you, Master Zheng Yan. I hope the Master will continue to help those in need.
In face of the drizzling rain, Tzu Chi volunteers simply put on their raincoats and continued with the pilgrimage. Seeing this as a family event, one volunteer, Zhong Zhongyou, held his son in one arm and an umbrella in the other.
We wanted to come take part, so we took our baby with us. Though he is still young, we want him to get used to Buddhism.
After chanting a Buddhist sutra, volunteers gathered inside the Jingsi Hall to share their thoughts.
Though our knees hurt when we bow, it reminds us to be grateful. The pain our mothers go through in giving birth is a lot more than what we are going through now.
I am grateful to my parents for raising me. I can only see my parents once a week, so I want to give my thanks to them and wish them good health.
The pilgrimage gives volunteers young and old an opportunity to find serenity in their hearts and realize they must seize each moment to do good deeds and be filial.
May 12th is Mother's Day, but to Tzu Chi volunteers, it is also Buddha Day and Global Tzu Chi Day. Across the globe, volunteers are working hard for the upcoming Tri-celebration. We now check out the ongoing preparation in Taiwan's Puli and Taipei.
At Taipei's Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall, Tzu Chi volunteers are getting ready for the Buddha Day ceremony rehearsal on Sunday by marking the ground with colored strips.
Depending on the color of their clothes, the strips will be different. So they just have to follow the strips that match their color.
Bringing their palms together, volunteers walk in unison, one step at a time. The large-scale ceremony at the hall will showcase the Bodhi path with the help of Tzu Chi volunteers from the Performers Association, the Collegiate Youth Group, the Police Association, and community volunteers.
Today, we are just familiarizing ourselves with the location. It's so big here. We are walking around to get to know our area. Otherwise, as shown from past experience, people will be startled by the large space. Today is just a warm-up.
Praying and chanting as one, volunteers take time from their weekends to come together to prepare for sharing their Dharma joy with more people on Buddha Day. In Nantou's Puli, more than 100 Tzu Chi volunteers are also preparing for Buddha Day. Some flatten the ground with a hoe, some sweep, and some bend down to pull out weeds. Working together, they savor the opportunity to give.
The brothers and sisters have mobilized to tidy up this place so that the public can have easy access.
The paper is stuck to the ground. I need to kick it to get it off.
Kicking away debris with his feet, the tap dance-like movement reveals volunteers' innocence and selflessness. Singing an old farm song as she works, 75-year-old Chen Caihe remembers her happy childhood.
In the past, my dad was happy to work, so I am also happy to do volunteer work. Singing makes me happy.
The captain of Meiling Police Precinct, Gao Ruizhi, is using his day off to help out.
I told my husband about the event, and he said he was very willing to help out. He said he wanted to cherish this rare opportunity.
Even a 3-year-old is sweeping the ground and experiencing the joy of giving like the adults. Giving this abandoned lot a makeover as if purifying their own spirit and minds, the volunteers are ready to cultivate more blessings.
In Sichuan Province, China, following Ya'an earthquake, the Lushan High School was closed down due to the extensive damage it suffered in the tremor. Thankfully, with help of corporations and local government, temporary classrooms have been set up and school was back in running on May 6. The day before, students gathered on campus to receive stationery, daily necessities, and blankets from Tzu Chi volunteers. Saying out loud with Tzu Chi volunteers are grade 10 and 11 students of Lushan High School. Today, 1,000 students have gathered on campus as school is finally back in session.
Every day, I can only stay in the tent and be with my mother and father. I want to be with my teacher and classmates too.
I was so happy when my mother received the news and told me that school was back in session.
Lushan High School was severely damaged in the Ya'an quake, which meant that its students had no place to study. Thankfully, with the help of the private sector and local government, temporary classrooms were set up, and on May 6, students were able to finally return to school.
Finally, we can bring our students back to school. We need to thank so many people for their help. Through interacting with Tzu Chi volunteers, I hope all of you can learn to share happiness, shoulder responsibility, and care for those around you. I believe the love and care from far and wide will help us walk through this difficult time, and a bright future awaits us.
Tzu Chi volunteers also thoughtfully seized this chance to distribute stationery, daily necessities, and Tzu Chi's eco-friendly blankets to each student.
When we shoulder the responsibility together, hardships will lessen. If we share our happiness with those around us, the happiness will multiply, and all of us will be happier.
Thanks to the Tzu Chi volunteers, Lushan High School students can now study free from worries. In the future, Tzu Chi volunteers will continue bringing their sign language songs to campus in hopes that the meaningful lyrics will help relieve students' anxious hearts. Staying in China, many local residents in Lushan County, Sichuan Province, are currently living in makeshift tents set up around a local gymnasium. As the local post office and banks are temporarily closed, quake survivors have no access to withdraw money to purchase daily necessities. Luckily, a mobile post office and bank were set up around the gym to solve this problem. After the Ya'an earthquake, the post office in Lushan County was temporarily closed. Thankfully, a mobile post office is now open to give local residents a chance to withdraw money.
I am here to see if my pay is here.
Some local residents use the mobile post office to send tuition fees for living expenses to family members out of town.
I am here to deposit money for my sister. She is studying out of town. The signboards at the post office in town are all destroyed.
Meanwhile, an ATM and a mobile bank have also been opened to make it more convenient for local residents to withdraw money.
Most of them are here to deposit money because after the strong quake, many are afraid of storing their money in the tents. They feel safer when their money is in the bank.
Following the earthquake, many local residents in Lushan County are living in tents, so they need to withdraw money from the bank to purchase daily necessities. Luckily, the mobile bank and mobile post office are here to meet these residents' needs.
Joining the volunteers as they continue their relief work in Sichuan's Lushan has been Luo Fengping, a newly certified Tzu Chi volunteer. 5 years ago, Luo lost her home in the Wenchuan earthquake and was forced to live in a government tent for over 3 years. Now, following the Ya'an earthquake, Luo is once again back in an aid camp, only this time as a volunteer working to comfort those who lost so much in the tremor.
Seeing all of you, I am reminded of that time 5 years ago when I was living in a tent just like you are now.
5 years ago, Luo Fengping lost her home and almost her life in the Sichuan earthquake when part of the fallen house injured her head.
It was a huge shock. For a long time after, I was frightened of possible aftershocks. Finally, after coming to Tzu Chi, I was able to find peace of mind.
As a newly certified volunteer, Luo never imagined her first test would come after an earthquake similar to the Sichuan earthquake 5 years ago. However, this time around, Luo is here to offer love and peace of mind instead of receiving it.
For all those people that have been through the quake, I know what they are going through. So I spend time talking with them in order to help settle their hearts.
Having once been a victim herself, Luo understands the fear and helplessness that these victims now face as she works to help those devastated by the quake rebuild among the ruins.
Taiwan's economy suffered heavily after World War II. However, following 15 years of humanitarian assistance from the United States, it soon flourished and grew once more. Today, Taiwan's role in the international stage has gradually transformed from aid recipients to aid donor, becoming a provider of extensive foreign aid, using so-called soft power to contribute to the global village. Although Taiwan has many times been rejected from participating in international organizations and conferences due to the One China policy, the island nation has nonetheless entered into many non-formal cooperative projects with nations worldwide, becoming a key player in the global arena.
In 1959, Taiwan became a provider of extensive foreign aid.
In 1959, Taiwan provided foreign assistance to Vietnam. A technical mission was deployed there to provide short-term assistance for the development of agriculture, fishery, and livestock.
The first large-scale foreign aid began under Operation Vanguard, where Taiwan dispatched an agricultural mission to Liberia in 1961. Launched in 1960, this operation assisted emerging independent states in Africa with modernizing their agricultural production, with the mission later expanding to countries in Latin America.
After 1963, Taiwan's foreign aid assistance expanded from Africa to countries in Latin America, the first being the Dominican Republic. Foreign aid assistance expanded to Asia in the 1980s, and thereafter the Caribbean.
Post-World War II, between 1949 and 1965, Taiwan received foreign aid from developed countries, predominantly the United States. With the foreign aid, Taiwan's economy grew rapidly. In 1980, Taiwan's role transformed from aid recipient to aid donor. However, due to the One China policy, Taiwan found itself isolated and excluded from many international organizations and conferences. Yet, through the country's agricultural and medical missions and other non-formal cooperative projects, Taiwan has been able to remain a key player in the international arena using its so-called soft power.
From the traditional farming methods of 50 years ago, the agriculture sector has now transformed into a highly competitive and modernized industry. Agricultural missions now account for 43% of Taiwan's foreign missions, while other sectors account for 57%.
Since 2001, Taiwan has joined the ranks of other foreign aid donors, providing over $1 million in annual foreign aid and having executed over 90 projects in some 85 countries, mostly coordinated through the International Cooperation and Development Fund.
Whether it is man-made or natural disasters, the first to arrive at the disaster site are always NPOs and charity organizations, such as Tzu Chi, World Vision, and the Red Cross. When carrying out these social responsibilities, these NPOs have stronger credibility and capability compared to the public sector.
Tzu Chi, unlike World Vision and the Red Cross, originated from Taiwan and began from just 50 cents in a bamboo coin bank each day to now being an international NGO. In 1991, following Tzu Chi's aid in the aftermath of the Bangladesh cyclone, serious flooding occurred in China's Huai River. Soon after, Tzu Chi began to raise funds for disaster relief. At the time, United Daily News covered the report of Tzu Chi's charity fundraiser. Since then, it has been well known that where there is a disaster, it is where Tzu Chi volunteers will go. In 1993, the Taiwan Fund for Children and Families also extended their humanitarian assistance to help some 60,000 children in the world. The NPO has set up branch offices in Kyrgyzstan and Mongolia to directly assist impoverished families.
The spirit of these religious leaders, they're able to transform love into selfless great love.
Many children from impoverished families have a little more than $1 a day to live on.
Taiwan is an island nation with very limited resources. Only if Taiwan raises its profile on the international stage will it have opportunities.
There are more compassionate people now who have come to understand that helping others with what they have brings them happiness.
Taiwan's greatest treasure is the love and kindness of its people, as more and more are willing to help others with what they have, thus making this island one of the most beautiful places on earth.
In Taiwan, the number of those diagnosed with Alzheimer's continues to increase daily, so it's important to know about the warning signs and how you can help. And as being a caregiver to someone suffering from Alzheimer's is such an overwhelming task, family members might wonder what type of support system are out there. In our today's next report on dementia, we take a look at a support system in Taipei where families can go to talk with other families and receive emotional support.
不太说话，不说话。
那你们在家里都在做什么？
我就说没有什么话可以讲，我做我的事。
Many wives spend their whole life raising their children and look forward to the day they are grown so they may start enjoying their golden years. However, for Zhen Chai, just when she should have been enjoying her retirement, another child was given to her to take care of. Her husband, who suffers from Alzheimer's, will often leave the house without notice if the door is not locked.
因为我出去的时候，我就会把它。
This lock needs a key to open even from the inside. When I go out, I will lock it, and he will need a key to open the door.
就是一定要钥匙才能开，里面。他有时候都不知道在哪里，会。
Sometimes he won't remember where the toilets are and will go anywhere. At times, I'll be very angry. How did it become like this?
怎么一个人好好的，为什么会？
A while ago, I was feeling depressed about my situation, and I tried to kill myself. Now thinking about it, I'm angry for doing that to myself.
有时候想到这些，我就自己很。这伫对翕的，你敢不知？会记得袂？
Do you remember where we took this picture? Remember? Where did we take our wedding pictures? At our old house over at Haikou. He doesn't remember much. I'm more traditional. As long as we are husband and wife, I will take care of him. It's not like he doesn't take care of me.
要照顾他。好。
Taking care of a person with Alzheimer's alone is a difficult task. As the conditions worsen, the pressure on family members also increases. Thus, it's very important for caregivers to seek outside support. Here at Taipei's support system for families who are living with Alzheimer's, sufferers can talk with other sufferers, and most importantly, family members find this a safe environment for them to let go of their stress and talk with others who relate.
常会觉得说讲给别人听，别人听无哈。
When you speak about your problems with others who are not going through the same thing you are, they might not understand. But when you talk to a family member of a sufferer, they immediately know what you are going through. That feeling is completely different. Most family members will have to suffer a long while before they find others like them who are going through the same thing.
The weekly gathering creates a family atmosphere between all the participants, whether patient or family member.
我们家属都互相扶持。
As family members help each other to leave the darkness behind. When we come here, it's like we have an opportunity to breathe again.
到快乐，还有喘息。
我来这边把这个家当作
When I come here, it's like my second home. I like coming here as it helps me to relax. All my worries are gone.
我的心情这样子。
Relaxing and letting go of worries is easier said than done, as it's a long road ahead for family members of Alzheimer's sufferers. But it's the love for one another that keeps them going on this difficult path.
In our next report, we travel to New Taipei City's Banqiao district to meet Tzu Chi care recipient Mr. Sun. 9 years ago, Mr. Sun was attacked by a group of teenagers in what was a case of mistaken identity. The beating put Mr. Sun in the hospital and later in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. Luckily, beginning 6 years ago, Tzu Chi volunteers took the family under its wing and have been there since with monthly subsidies and support through regular visits. In gratitude, the family of 3 saves a bit of money every day to donate to those in greater need.
In whatever way they can, volunteers work to help this family, which was left economically improvised after Mr. Sun, the main breadwinner, was left in a wheelchair after a severe beating.
用这只手，你可以给它拨，一只一只拨，慢慢拨，可以拨多少算多少。
Step by step, volunteers help Mr. Sun with his rehabilitation, and in gratitude, he and his family have been giving back.
The master said that doing good deeds and accumulating blessings should start right now. Even though we don't have a lot of money, we can't always be the recipients of aid, but should also do our best to help others.
After hearing the master speak, I felt that I wanted to help people. I don't have a lot of money to spare, but the 5 or 10 NT dollars that is left over after buying vegetables, I will save on behalf of others. That makes me feel good.
When I get good grades, my dad will give me some spending money, and sometimes I will deposit this money into the bamboo banks.
Seeing the devastation of the Ya'an earthquake, the family says they want to donate their accumulated love to help those disaster victims in need.
We stay in Taiwan at the end of the show, where a Buddha Day ceremony was held in Taidong County. Although many local residents were Catholics, under the volunteers' guidance, everyone overcame their religious differences and happily joined the event. We will leave you with these images. Thank you for watching Dai Headlines. Goodbye.